right? Gene Deal was saying that 50 didn't even have no control over it, because he wasn't in the documentary, and he was saying like, somebody else that was, producing it contacted him, and he wanted to get a bag from it, and they wasn't trying to give him what he was asking for, and they was telling him that 50 ain't had the control. I think that they knew that the documentary was gonna move by them attaching 50's name to it, right? 50 got something on it, he got paid for it, but he didn't have the control of it. I think that shit came from, the people that Diddy was going at. They still on the campaign to go hard on it. And they know 50 and him is ops, so they use 50 to be a part of it. And by him attaching his name to it, it was like it came, from 50. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm gonna let Gene talk. So we're gonna run this one right here, man. Smash that like button and hit that subscribe button. Appreciate all y'all that rock with SBGB TV, man. Yeah, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, man.
Gene Deal, welcome back, my guy. Been a while, man.
It has been, but I'm here, and I figured that after this 50 documentary, you'll be giving me a call. Told you I ain't turning down nothing but my collar when it comes to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I mean, I had to bring you back. This documentary got everyone talking, man. A lot of people want to know why you wasn't in it, man.
Well, first and foremost, I thought I was going to be in the documentary at first until I start talking to that director. I think her name is Stapleton. I don't know her name. The white chick. I don't know, man. Me and 50 talked like 45 minutes. The producers had been calling me and everything. So this one night, 50 called me up, and they got him on the phone. Me and him was just talking. We was talking about old time shit. Sit down with Black Hands. Sit down with with Puff Kids, the whole Puff situation, and this documentary that he's going to be doing. You know what I'm saying? So I told him that I was going to, have Kirk and Tim. Kirk will be the one who talk about the business part of it. Tim will be the one who talk about the growing up phase with Diddy and everything, and over there working in the record industry with him and stuff like that. They was like family. And I was going to talk about, the street stuff, what was going on with Bad Boy, with the security, with Wolf, with the city college, with, the time that I knew about when I was with him up until about early 2004 or something like that. But basically the streets, and then the traveling with him and the atmosphere and everything. And then go back into the Notorious Big stuff with the Tupac and the whole 9 yards, all the stuff that I knew, you know what I'm saying? So we was talking, and he sounded like, yo, listen here, they gonna spare no expense with this whole documentary. So I said, all right, cool. So what I did was I spoke to Tim, and I spoke to Kirk Burroughs. And I was like, yo, because I had Tim's number. Tim didn't know how to get in touch with Kirk. Kirk didn't know how to get in touch with Tim. But Kirk was trying to tell me, give him the number with the Tim. I said, nah, I ain't doing that. So I gave one of the producers the number in the whole 9 yards to get in touch with Tim, because I want to see him get money, because I know Tim got a hell of a story with Puff. So
now, I do want to say this, right? In life, right? It's always going to be the people that know you, that been around you, that are going to go against you, right? And we know that Gene was around Puff, right? And we know Puff was a dirtbag, right? He did a lot of foul stuff to people, and I understand that. But the people around you are the ones that's gonna validate anything about you when it goes down. And this is why you have to be mindful how you treat people and how, who you keep around you. Because they always gonna turn on you. Now it's like Gene been going hard on Puff for a while, right? And he been talking about Puff and his time around him and all that, and giving up details about what type of person is. But it always comes from the people that you embrace. You have to understand that. Straight up. And I bet that too much that he has secrets of his own while he talking. I bet that one. Yes. Yeah. He said if he was solid, he would decline the whole thing. And said, I don't want to be a part of it. But do your thing. Okay. Yeah. I agree. A lot of individuals, man, that you keep around you definitely turn on you, man. Definitely. It's a part of the game of life, man. You got to watch everybody you got around you, man. And be mindful. Those same people that you might, laugh with, or, even if you treat them a certain way, they're going to be the same ones that go against you. Especially, if people in the world are looking at you in a good light, it's always going to be people trying to paint a bad light. It's always going to be like people going at you when you're trying to do this, and then people going at you when you're trying to do that. And it's going to be people that like you, and it's going to be people that don't like you. So, Puff definitely displayed ways of like a foul individual. I got to agree with that. But my point is, it's the people around you that's going to turn on you.
Then I talked to Tim and I told him, yo, listen here, man, we should go in as a package deal. All three of us, we could tell a hell of a story about this whole documentary. You know what I'm saying? From front to start. Then whatever stuff that they get and everything like that. So let's go in there and ask them for 50 a piece. You know what I'm saying? So Tim was like with it, yo, Gene, whatever, go ahead like that. Kirk was like, yeah, okay, cool, Gene. It was like a general census that we was gonna do this in a whole package deal. You know what I'm saying? And then I started speaking to the producers and everything like that, because 50 had told me himself that they was gonna spare no cost in doing this because he wanted to tell the story, and he wanted to tell the story like it was supposed to be told and everything like that. I said, yeah, okay. So then the director, I gotta get her name, man, because it don't even sound. I want to put her on blast because she was telling me, she was saying to me that what I was asking for was crazy, and they wasn't spending money like that. I'm talking about, you got footage, you got clothing, you got. I was doing footage. I had pictures, all the stuff that I had. You could figure out a way to pay a brother and stuff like that. And then I was telling her about some prices that I've already received, and I had the invoices to show it. And then she was calling me like I was lying. I was like, yo, who do you think you talking to? You know what I'm saying? And she was talking about, there's no way nobody paid. Nobody what? I say, first of all you people come with these documentaries and stuff, the first thing you tell me, y'all tell these people out here that y'all don't pay, and y'all pay. You give, if you can make a picture look like $10,000-$15,000, you know what I'm saying? You can sit here and tell me that you're gonna pay me for my time sitting right down here with y'all. You understand? So then, one thing led to another, and I was like, yo, all right, well then, F you. I spoke to 50, and then she said, 50? and this is exact words that came out her mouth. 50 does not determine what goes in and go out of this documentary. And he definitely don't pay. He determine what somebody get paid. It's not his documentary like that. I was like, oh, so if it's not his documentary and I spoke to him like that, I don't need to be doing nothing with you.
So that there lets you know that 50 was just on it. He got money for his name being attached to it. Yeah. And of course, he gonna promote it and pump it because he was beefing with Puff. That was his op. So that right there, let it be known that 50 didn't have the control of it. He didn't have the control of it. Straight up. Yeah. And we know Gene don't like Puff. He hate Puff to death. Got his name up heavy off Puff. Yeah, got his name up heavy off Puff. He's been talking about Puff for a long time now, too. Yeah. Crazy. He said, don't nobody want to do business with him. Dirtbag. Yeah. He said, that's all it is. That's why 50 was the co-producer. It was that lady's work. 50 was just the name. I definitely agree with that. Man. Definitely.
Because I'm doing this on the strength of him. But you gonna pay me if I do it. So it went back and forth, for a little bit. And then they had Kirk Burrows giving me calls and everything like that. What are you calling me for? You know what I'm saying? I'm not, get out of here. I know what kind of dude you is anyway. Me and you cool and everything, Kirk, but don't call me about no business with this stuff like that. And then what I found out is that he was making a deal, cutting a deal for himself as well as Tim. You understand? And I was trying to get a deal for all three of us. You understand? So that's how them industry cats go. That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at it like this. So then he called me back again, and I told him, like, listen, don't you ever call my phone again, Kirk? You know what I'm saying? Because we had got into it about somebody calling him. He told me Groovy Lou called him and wanted to know why Gene's still doing this to Puff and everything like that. And I mentioned it on the Gene Deal show. You understand? I said something. Then he called me back like I was lying. And listen to me, Kirk. Don't call me about what these clowns and these niggas say right here, bro. I had nothing, and especially don't call me talking about what I gotta fix. When in fact, you know what you told me and you know what our conversation was. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing about why I'm not in the thing, the lady was talking greasy to me. She had no right to talk greasy to me. And then she told me that 50 didn't have the power to do anything, but they using his name to push the whole documentary. And that's what it was about.
That's what it was about. 50 didn't have the control. He got a voice though. The people know him. 50 saying the documentary coming out, people went and looked for it, and it went up. Straight up. It went up. Everybody knew it was coming because 50 kept talking about it. And he got paid for that. Gene, he wanted to be in it. And I'm sure, he felt some type of way that he wasn't in it because he's been talking about Diddy for so long now. Yeah, he wanted to be in that documentary. You know what I mean? But he wasn't. It happens. Yeah. But smash that like button and hit that subscribe button, man. Shout out to all of y'all that rock with SBGB TV, man. I appreciate all of y'all, man. For sure. Yeah. Gene didn't get it. The documentary went on. They got paid. They wanted to make sure that they assassinate Diddy's name even more. They going hard on Diddy. And it ain't going to be over, but, what I think, though, with Diddy, right, when he get out, he can't be trying to answer questions. You know, that's something that people have to understand. You know, people going to talk about you, you know, and they're going to say what they want. But when you in the light, you can't be trying to answer every question and everything that's said about you. You know, some things is going to be said and people going to believe what they want. You trying to validate this and answer that and talk about this and that, you really make it look bad for yourself. So I think that if, you know, Puff come home and he go do whatever he doing and, you know, focus on his business and, you know, not trying to explain everything to everybody, people going to accept him and people going to hate him on both ends, but he's still going to be able to do business. But if he get out here trying to explain this and explain that and explain this and explain that, it's going to be like a downward spiral for him. You know, you can't please everybody. You know, everybody not going to agree with you. You know, and that's what people have to understand. You know, I'm glad that I understand that. You know, trying to explain yourself to everybody never makes things all good because people are going to have a perception about you regardless. They're going to think what they're going to think, and your explanation is not going to change somebody's perception about you. They're going to think what they want. They're going to still have something to say regardless. Straight up. So, you know, Puff gotta, you know, come home and just focus on what he's focusing on. You know, it is what it is. And I guarantee you that the people that we didn't see showing up, showing him love that he used to be connected to, they're going to pop back out. You know that. They all going to pop back out and they're going to act like nothing never happened. They're going to act like nothing never happened. They're going to deal with Puff. You know, that's why certain people wasn't saying anything. Straight up. This is why certain people wasn't saying anything. They didn't want to ruin that relationship. They didn't know if he was going to get out or what. Now that they see that he's definitely going to get out, a lot of them people like, damn, I knew I shouldn't have said nothing. They're going to go back to dealing with him. Yeah. You know, it's going to be some people that don't like him. There's going to be some people that rock with him. And this is how life go. You know, I think that that era where, you know, the real nigga, as they would say, right? That era is not the same no more. It's not like how it used to be. You know, people gonna deal with you for why they want to deal with you. It ain't gonna be like, you know, oh, this person snitched, we not rocking with him. They gonna rock with you if they gonna rock with you, regardless if you snitched or not. You know, the era has changed. You know, the principles where it used to be a certain way, it's not like that no more. You know, everything has changed, man. You know, so knowing how to, you know, handle yourself. That's what's, you know, carrying you around out here. Knowing how to handle yourself. Yeah, because people going to rock with you if they rock with you. If they don't, they don't. You know, and everybody's not going to rock with you. So trying to explain yourself to the people that don't rock with you is not a good move. You know, but man, I appreciate all of y'all, man, that rock with SBGB TV, man. We're gonna come back for the late night show, and we're gonna get in a few things for the late night show, man. You know, so make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit that like button. You know, share the live. If you haven't hit that notification bell, hit the notification bell, man. You know, I appreciate All of y'all, man. Go check out the merch too. SBGBTV.com. You know, if you want to for us to promote anything for you, email me at sbgbtv@gmail.com, man. Shout out to all y'all in the chat.